Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. We got some news and notes, kids. Oh, we have some news and notes coming out of this road trip thus far. And I'll begin on a lighter note. We'll begin on a happier note. Don't know if you guys have been following this, but obviously the very exuberant, I guess is the term to use, rookie Arseny Gritsuk. Everyone loves a nice Telegram post from this kid. This was after the last game. He has 1:27 a.m., or this is from the Devils, 1:27 a.m., and we're over here keeping you awake with the latest from Grits and Cap, and there you see it, courtesy of the Arseny Gritsuk Telegram. Him and the captain, Nico, all smiles after the win. A big win. Devils 2-0 on the road trip, looking to make it 3-0 tomorrow night in Vancouver. Should be a very interesting one. Hopefully they find a way to do it, as they obviously are in desperate need of points to stay alive. We'll talk about all that in a little bit. But obviously the big news, in case you've been living under a rock, we've placed, this is from the Devils, obviously, we've placed Luke Hughes' shoulder on long-term injured reserve, retroactive to January 19th. We've also recalled D. Colton White from Utica. He's met the team in Vancouver, and he barely just left. I don't even know. He must have played maybe one game in Utica. Colton White, great depth defenseman, stepped in admirably, played a bunch of games for the Devils with all the injuries and things earlier on in the season, and then with Kovalchuk coming back. He was sent back to Utica, but now he's back. Oh, he's back. 7th D, and we are, one more injury away from Colton White reemerging. But I definitely think people need to realize he gave the Devils a lot of good play while we were down some defensemen. Let me just see what he had to play 20 some odd games. Forgot to pull that up. Yeah, he's played 23 games. 23 games, 4 assists, a +2. Filled in admirably. Great job for Colton White. I liked what he brought. Obviously, a lot of people were not happy when he was on waivers last week, but, a lot of people were like, oh, why didn't we trade him? Like, you weren't going to get a lot in trade. You're better off holding on to him. And with Luke going down, the 7th D-man, but Luke Hughes, they said, he's figuring out whether he wants to rehab it seems. He doesn't want to get the surgery yet. It's obviously a problem, and it sucks. A lot of people have been kind of hating on Luke. I think a lot of it's extreme. Obviously, there's been some turnover issues and things like that, but the team is certainly better, in my opinion, with him than without. I understand everyone's like, oh, we're 2-0 without him. And I get it, but guys, come on. He's a pretty good defenseman, all things considered. I mean, I think some of the hate is wild, in my opinion, but I certainly understand the people's frustrations with some of the lapses in the defensive play, but you guys got to, calm down a little bit. Some of you guys are super extreme, but I guess we will find out probably in the next, I don't know, I'd imagine week or two, if he is going to try to rehab and come back, or if he's going to get the surgery. If he gets the surgery, obviously that's a very long-term thing, and we will see him next season. And then obviously there's the cap space implications with all of that. As I've told you guys a bunch of times, I don't really expect any major moves, this season, but I do think there is possibility, especially if Dougie's traded, but that's a whole other thing, right? A lot of people are on the don't trade Dougie. A lot of people saying trade Dougie. I mean, I could certainly make the arguments for both. The argument to not trade him obviously would be, we lost a great right-handed D in Luke Hughes. Puck mover, could play the power play. Some of you will complain about that as well, but it certainly makes the waters a little bit muddier, in my opinion. I don't think it's as clear cut of a decision as it once was. And I told you guys coming into the season, I wanted Dougie for a playoff run. I really did. I don't see how you could believe the Devils are better without him, especially for a playoff run. Veteran, you could put him out there. Power play. I'm a Dougie fan, but I certainly, prior to the Luke injury, thought it was 100% necessary to trade him because of the crowded right side and the salary cap implications. But here we are. I do think Fitz is probably trying to assess, if I had to guess. I do think after the Olympic break and maybe getting closer to the deadline, if the Devils look like they have a chance to make the playoffs, if they're like right there in striking distance, he may be more hesitant to trade Dougie. Now, if they fall off and have an extended losing streak and it looks like it's over, then I think the urgency would ramp up on his end to make a move. Obviously, there'll be some other teams depending on, if there's more suitors with injuries and stuff. But again, Dougie, complicated situation. He has the pre-approved trade list. And so, you need a couple things to come together for that all to happen. There's got to be a team with cap space that's on his list, or a team with cap space that maybe not on his list, but he may consider, waiving for. So that's kind of a messy situation. I'm curious to think what you guys think about Dougie. But if the Devils, in a month from now or so, look like they have a chance to really make a run and sneak into the playoffs, I'd much rather have him. Now, we'll never know all this information, but if they were gung-ho on getting rid of him and using that money to improve the offense, then I'd be all about that. I would take my chances, even if it meant Colton White playing every game. That's a chance I personally would take to improve the offense. But I do think there's a chance that we see Dougie moved and we don't see any big splashes with the found cap space. I know that would infuriate a lot of people, but the playbook is kind of out there. We've seen how these things have gone the past couple of years. And so I don't even think it'd be an automatic addition, if you will, up front if Dougie is moved. It's a whole nother thing. We could talk about this forever. But another interesting piece of news, courtesy of Amanda Stein today. Connor Brown is getting some power play one work with NJ Devils as the net front presence out there with Hamilton, Nico, Jack, and Bratt. And it's about time, kids. The power play has been powerless for quite some time, has looked absolutely awful. We've all been dying to see something. And now listen, my thoughts are well known on this. I think my man, Timo Meier, should be firmly cemented on the first power play unit. That hasn't happened for whatever reason. He usually sees some power play 2 time, if not power play 1. Would love to see Timo out there as a permanent staple on power play 1, ripping those lasers from the right circle, but it doesn't seem like that's ever going to happen. And so if nothing else, I will gladly take some sort of, injected rejuvenation or whatever you want to call it into power play 1, because it sucked. Connor Brown, I've liked him all season. Not a, I would say, huge needle mover, but in terms of a depth piece and a signing that I think was pretty damn good, I'm happy with Connor Brown. I like him a lot. He's got 9 goals, 9 assists for 18 points on the season. That veteran presence, I think, on and off the ice. And I'm glad to see him getting a crack on power play 1. Hopefully tomorrow night in Vancouver. I would love to see this team explode for 4 or more goals. Would love to see some power play goals, obviously. It's been just atrocious watching the power play. And maybe Connor Brown brings some new life to the power play 1. We shall see. But Connor Brown with Dougie, Nico, Jack, and Bratt, love to see it. They're trying something, which I will gladly take. Try anything. The power play has been so bad. You got to do something. And Connor Brown, we're going to see. We shall see what Connor Brown brings to that power play 1 unit. Also, courtesy of Amanda Stein, no changes for NJ Devils at practice today. Coming off of back-to-back wins, Glendening is skating as the extra forward, while Lemico is paired with Colton White as an extra defensive pairing today. Devils play the Canucks tomorrow evening, and, not to be whatever, but in terms of this team hopefully getting hot and ripping off some wins regularly here to try to make this thing interesting towards the end of the season, I personally hope we just don't see any more Glendening and Lemico. That's just not conducive to winning, unfortunately. We saw it last year with a bunch of guys in the lineup on a nightly basis that probably should not have been, and we've seen it again this year. And I think a lot of us are getting tired of it. And we all love Haminaho, I think that's a pretty universal mantra across the fan bases. Everyone's like, all right, we got some fresh blood. We've been hearing about this kid for a while. He's looked pretty damn good the last couple of games. And there's no reason, I said it after his first game, there is no reason why this kid should not be here for the rest of the season. But we look, lines are still the same. Top line, Timo Meier, Jack Hughes, and Jesper Bratt. And obviously, people could point to whatever they want on the season. But in the end, Your big dogs got to be your big dogs. And our big dogs have been puppies. Absolute puppies. Jack Hughes gets Chicago cut, and literally they all just vanished. They all pulled a Houdini simultaneously, and the team has struggled mightily as a result. There's no excuse. No excuse. All these guys need to pick it up because they were just completely missing in our hour of the most need. With Jack down, you want these guys to step up. They did the opposite. Not only did they not step up, they just vanished. Poof. Into thin air. Where are you guys? My man Timo, listen, a lot of people, I'm tired of fighting the Timo haters, but I'd like to see him step it up. Obviously, he's been, in my opinion, playing some pretty good hockey. He's getting in on the forecheck. He's crushing guys. He had that goal, the only goal for the Devils in that terrible loss against the Canes, but that smash on Aho was beautiful. Would love to see more of it. And shout out, I can't just randomly, Johnny Kovalchuk. What a sequence last game. He pops McDavid, drops the mitts, answers the bell. Heavier, edgier, more violent. I want to see more of it. Timo has to be part of that movement. Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt. Gotta get it going. Both of these guys have been pretty quiet as of late, and we're just not going to go anywhere if we're relying on random goals from the bottom six. It's just not going to happen. And the bottom six has been pretty good the past couple games, but they're not going to be able to win every single game, and the big guys got to be the big guys. Jack Hughes, paging Jack Hughes. Obviously, he's hurt. He's not 100%. He's still nursing the hand, but I think he hasn't scored in like 13 games. He scored in his first game back against Buffalo and hasn't scored since. Yeah, he's picked up some assists, but like, buddy, we need you to score. And we know the shot's not there. You see it even on, the backhand, the forehand, the power's not there, but he's got to find a way to start burying some pucks because we are dying offensively. The drought season is upon us, and it's unfortunate. We saw streaks of it last year. This team couldn't score goals, and it's followed them into this year, and it sucks. These guys got to get activated, and they need to get activated quick. What do we have? 30. Hold up. I don't have it in front of me here. The season's winding down quickly. There's still games left, but 32 games left. Can you boys make a push? And if they are going to make a push, we're going to need to see some scoring from the top six. Second line, Palat, Heischer, Mercer. Third line, Dodonov, Cotter, Brown. Fourth line, Gritz, Glass, and Hami Naho. D pairings, Siegs, Pesci, Dylan Hamilton, Shimo Nemitz still on his offside with Johnny Kovacevic. And then you have that extra pairing there, Lamico and White. And Markstrom Allen. I don't necessarily know that this means Markey's going to be starting. A lot of people are opinionated on that one and want to see Jake Allen kind of continue to get his starts, but we'll see. I don't know that that's indicative of that. But we'll find out tomorrow morning, or not tomorrow morning, but tomorrow afternoon, I guess. I'm sure they'll have a morning skate, and we will see who will be in net. Whoever it is, they need to stand on their heads and give this team a chance to win, maybe by scoring 2 goals. I mean, it's sad, right? When we go into these games, I'm like, all right, can Jake Allen or Markey hold the other team to 1 goal, and can we squeak out a 2-1 win? And I know a lot of people don't love this style of hockey, but I'm here to tell you, this is old school New Jersey Devils winning hockey. Absolutely is. Defensively responsible, try to capitalize on your chances, and win a low-scoring game if that's what it comes down to. There's a lot of fans that are like, oh, this is boring, this and that. I'll never get bored by winning. Never, ever get bored by winning. And if it means winning 2-1 hockey games, so be it. Some of the best hockey games I've ever seen in my life have been 1-0, 2-1 games. And so I understand it's mostly a newer fan thing where they want to see more offense, but all that matters is winning, guys. I don't care if it's 2-1, 1-0, whatever, just win the game. And it seems like for now, they're going to have to embrace these kind of low-scoring games until we can kind of open the floodgates, if ever. But we'll see. Just win. Just win. 2-0 on the road trip. Would love to see them make it 3-0 tomorrow. We owe the Canucks for the loss they handed us at the Rock a few weeks back when it was their first game without their captain and best player, Quinn Hughes, and they beat us in our own barn. Pathetic. They're in the basement of the league. We absolutely cannot lose to them again, and especially considering where we are in the standings, which we'll get to in a minute, they got to get it done. Got to beat this team, and I'm going to say this is a must-win. I mean, you guys know how I feel about must-wins, but this is like a must win. We desperately need points. Would love to see 3 in a row, and this team is in the basement. We absolutely must clobber them. Clobber the Canucks is the mission. And we look at the standings. Oh, we look at the standings, and it is depressing. In the Metropolitan Division, still holding down the number 1 spot, the Carolina Hurricanes with 66 points. In the second spot, Sid the Kid and the Pittsburgh Penguins with 59 points. And in the third spot, the New York Islanders, 59 points as well. And then we look at the wild card. You got the Sabres with 59 points and the Boston Bruins with 58. And I hate scoreboard watching and like rooting for teams to lose. And I have found myself doing it, pretty often just because of how desperately I really want this team to get into the playoffs. But we got some bad news. In terms of the out-of-town scoreboard, we got some really bad news. Right now, in the second period, the Bruins are up 3-0 on the Golden Knights, and the Sabres are up 3-1 on the Canadiens in the second period. And so the hole for the Devils to climb into a wild card spot will get a little bit deeper, as if these results hold up, the Sabres will go to 61 points and the Bruins will go to 60. And a lot of you did say you believe it will be an easier path to try to get into a third spot in the Metro, which is very possible, but there is still a lot of games left. Like you never know. I'm always going to be now rooting for all of the Eastern teams to be losing, because you just never know what could happen. I don't care if it's a wild card. I don't care if it's third in the Metro. I just want to see this team get into the playoffs some way, somehow. And it's going to start with playing consistent hockey for the rest of the year. Would love to see them go 4-0 on this road trip, and that's being greedy. But at this point, we have to be greedy. At a minimum, they have to win one of the next 2. Winning 3 of 4 on the road trip is a massive win, and that would put them at what? Winning 5. They've won 4 of the last 5, so if they even split the next 2, that'd be 5 of 7, which is pretty good, but it wouldn't be as good as winning the next 2. Winning the next 2 would be very nice, and they're going to have to continue on this path. I believe they have one of the easiest by strength of schedule, one of the easiest remaining schedules in the league, if not the easiest. And again, we know that doesn't mean too much. I'm not going to put too much stock into it, because this team has struggled with some crappy teams in the past few years. But, you got to win these games. And now we get to the comments. Got it. Oh, we're super far behind. But Cape Dweller, 2-0 since Luke's injury, just saying, yeah, I knew someone was going to say that. James, no woman will ever say to a Hughes boy, hey, you have nice shoulders, big boy. You guys are brutal. Stick Fix is paging Josh Harris, paging Dave Blitzer. We'll see about that. All right, let me skip ahead here. Robbie's bench toss says, I'd trade Dougie now while his value is high if you could get it. High meaning getting no or minimal retention. Interesting topic. A lot of people, I guess, since Dougie was scratched and has kind of responded in a big way, registering all these assists, people have kind of changed their thought process or kind of interpretation of what Dougie's trade value might be. In the end, if they do decide to move him, it does seem like we've seen some quotes from, I think it was Pagnotta in the past week or so, that like Fitz is kind of being greedy with what he wants back. And like, if you could get a team to take his whole $9 million, like what can you really expect back in return? Like I personally would be happy with clearing all the money, assuming, and this is a big assumption, assuming they are going to use that freed up cap space to make some improvements to the offense. Now, that is a big assumption. Like I said a little bit earlier, I could see a world where he's dealt and they do nothing, which would really suck. And I know a lot of people would be pissed. But if you could clear that $9 million, I think it's definitely worth investigating, regardless of what you're getting back. I don't really know what Fitz, even in the wildest dreams of his, he could expect back. Like, it is kind of crazy that he's going to be greedy, but we'll see. We will see. I wouldn't mind hanging on to him, assuming we are in a striking distance of a playoff spot. If we're ever kind of clearly out of it, it would make no sense to keep him. It just wouldn't. Jay Snow, I'm still trading Dougie. The reality is this team's not a cup contender. I agree with that, but here's the other thing, Snow. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Assuming somehow the Devils did, let's just play fantasy for a minute. Let's just say they did get hot, started playing consistently, and did get into a playoff spot, right? If that happens, that would mean that they played pretty damn good hockey for a long time, for a real long time. And at that point, would you not start to believe that maybe, again, are we going to pick them as a cup favorite? No. But if they play that high level of hockey for these 30 plus games remaining, would you then not say, well, let's just see what happens? They're going to get in and let's see if we could do some damage, because they would be riding high and, you know, having the hot hands, if you will, going into the playoffs. Does that mean something? Does that change your expectations? Now, if you're going to say, you know, cup contender, I don't know if you mean like a cup favorite or you just think it's impossible for them to win the cup. But either way, if you're going to say they're not a real cup contender, then you could kind of use that logic to make no improvements with the punt team, which we've seen before. Like, oh, this team's not a cup contender with or without Dougie. So even if we trade him, why are we going to improve the team and use that cap space? Because this team's not a cup contender. I do think that's a little bit of that losing mentality that I've talked about for a while. FGHY8 got to max Dougie's trade value. It'll peak this trade deadline. If a great offer comes, take it. If not, then move him for a nothing return in the offseason. Yeah, I do think it could go up a little bit towards the deadline, especially if other teams suffer injuries. But if the Devils are looking like they're kind of sunk, if they ever go on like an extended losing streak and it looks like they're toast, I don't see what the point of keeping them would be at all. Because why wouldn't you try to maximize the value at the deadline if you could pull it off to one of the teams he would go to? Certainly an interesting scenario here. Jay Snow, they need to get all of his money off the books and try to make a big move in the summer. I'm not mad at that. Fitz does seem to be way more active in the summer. I don't know that I'm thrilled with any of the unrestricted free agents, but, you know, maybe we'll see some big time trades. I mean, last summer seemed like a really slow, boring summer in terms of trades and signings and stuff. I think it was actually probably the most boring summer I can remember in quite some time. But who knows? Maybe that's Fitz's plan. I don't know if he has a plan at all at this point. But this team definitely needs some long-term improvements, whether they happen this season or in the offseason. I'm pretty sure that everyone in the fan base wants to see something somewhat major done before the start of the 26-27 season. I think that's kind of a fair assumption. Mooseman says, Keefe is such a dimwit of a coach. I don't know that I agree with that. I'd be curious to know the reasons why. Glad to see Brown on power play. One should be Timo, but I'll take it. That I agree with. I actually said that several minutes ago. I'm a big Timo guy. He thrived in San Jose on the power play, obviously, on the right side. Why on earth would we trade for him and then give him that contract and then not use him the same exact way? I have no idea. But he's out there intermittently. But yeah, I firmly believe he should be out there every single time. Like, no reservations about it. Like, put Timo on power play one. He is a weapon. I think he should be out there. Jay Snow, Connor Brown's our net front presence just shows how soft this team is. We don't have one net front guy. Well, Nason was it last year. You know, they tried him for a little bit there earlier this season. Obviously, he's out with injury. But I like Timo in that spot too. And that's what I like about Timo. He obviously is a threat with the big one-timer from the circle. But we've also seen him get down and dirty in the crease as well. The one that most notably comes to mind in recent times is, I think it was late in the third period against Montreal at the Rock. With the goalie pulled, he scored a nice one in tight to send the game to overtime. I do think Timo is a little bit of a threat in a lot of ways. And that's why I think he should be out there on the power play. Jay Snow, no screens, no tips, no greasy goals. We've all talked about it. We don't see a lot of crease crashing. Something we hope to see improved down the stretch. Can't be the one-trick pony. Bonzo says, I still say that major moves are needed. I think everyone agrees with you there, Bonzo. Jay Snow, they're not going anywhere, scoring 2 goals a game. Completely agree. Unless they can keep winning 2-1 games. If they could keep winning 2-1 games, I would not complain whatsoever. Jay Snow, our top 6 has been awful this year. Yes, it has. Jersey 61. After a big win, the Devils always lose to a bottom dweller. It cannot happen tomorrow. It cannot happen. They got to come out flying like they did in Edmonton and play a solid 60 minutes. The last game, unfortunately, they had a pretty good first 40 minutes, and we were just under complete attack in that third period. It was an Edmonton Oilers assault that we only survived by the grace of Jake the Snake Allen in net, holding it down while the team was getting absolutely shelled. It was just bombs away. Jake Allen held down the fort. Without Jake Allen, the Devils obviously lose that game pretty easily. Jay Snow, Jack can't handle a pass. Timo put an apple on a stick against Edmonton. He couldn't do anything with it. He's compromised, kids. He's very compromised right now, and it sucks. And a lot of people are like, oh, he shouldn't be playing then. And I've said this a million times. Jack Hughes, even at 60%, is still better than 90% of the players in the league. Furthermore, he's certainly better than what would go into the lineup for this Devils club if he was pulled out. So just think of it that way. Like, oh, yeah, sit Jack. Okay, so what? You're going to sit Jack and Lamico's coming in, Glendenning's coming in? I'll take my chances with a one-handed Jack Hughes all day, every day. Still can bring it into the zone, still commands attention from the opposition, can still deke people out of their skates, and can still create. He's just not finishing. And hopefully, if he can't finish, then we still see some amazing plays where he puts it on the stick for other guys to bury it and they start finishing. The finishing on this team has been absolutely atrocious. And it cannot continue. This team needs to break out. I would love to see this is asking for a lot, obviously, given what we've seen recently, but would love to see the Devils score. I'm going to set the bar kind of low overall in terms of asking for an offensive explosion. But for this team, can we score 7 goals total in the next 2 games? I know that's asking for a lot. Can we score 7 goals? Can we get 3 and 4, 4 and 3? Can we just score 7 in the next 2 games? Would certainly make me feel really good. Jersey Roots, AO Ace, and all the other Dirty Devil Barbarians, hello to you, sir. Stick Figs is the fact that Cody Glass is tied for goals with Jesper Bratt and Jack Hughes. Yeah, I talked about this in the last post game, and there was a post about it on X, I think. Obviously, it's crazy, even though Jack missed a lot of time. But the fact that he's tied with Jesper Bratt with 11 goals, he's played 11 less games, Cody Glass. If I told anyone coming into the season in the summer, if I said through 50 games, Jesper Bratt's going to play every game and have 11 goals, and Cody Glass will also have 11 goals, missing 11 games, meaning Cody Glass has 11 goals, the same as Bratter, in 39 games, 11 games less than Bratt, people would say, what type of crack are you on? I would have said that to somebody as well. If that was like someone's prediction, I would have flamed them endlessly, because that would have been a completely insane prediction. But here we are. With 11 games less played, Cody Glass has the same amount of goals as Jesper Bratt. Got to give Cody Glass start to the season, or not even start to the season. At this point where we are, he's come up with some timely goals, and you love to see it. Cody Glass. Hopefully he can continue, and hopefully some of the top 6 guys wake up, because this has been ridiculous. Jay Snow, Jack really needs to rest during the Olympics. I can care less about Jack playing in Italy. A lot of people are talking about this too, and let's be realistic, folks. That is never happening. That is never happening. Jack has been looking forward to this since it was announced. And there is 0% chance that he does not go to Italy. Mooseman says, I love 2-1 wins. So do I. I don't love them when I'm having a heart attack in the waning moments of the game, like the Edmonton game. I mean, I was like, I thought I was going to go face down when they had the goalie pulled and we were just in survival mode. Siegs laying out to block a big shot. Pesci blocked a shot. Like, that was heart attack inducing stuff, but 2-1 wins are super exciting. Bonzo, just think we could get for the Hughes brothers, at least someone that's not always hurt. People talk about this too. And again, I hate to keep wasting time talking about this. The ownership group is all in on the Hughes brothers. Talking about trading them is insane, because it is never going to happen, or at least anytime remotely soon. Discussing this is a waste of our collective breaths, because it is not happening. Furthermore, with the injury concerns for these guys, their trade value is not what many people would expect. There'd be tons of teams thrilled to have either one of them, but they're not going to send packages or offers remotely what many people think it would be, because the reality is they are injury prone, and every GM knows it. And so for them to go out on a limb and send massive packages for these guys that'll probably never play a full season, most GMs aren't that dumb. Jason, no, it's sad how many players in the league have more goals on our core. Yeah, you look at the league leaders and you're like, my God, we're nowhere near. We are absolutely nowhere near. All right, I'm falling behind again. Let me see if I can speed up here. Moose Man, better to win 2-1 than not win at all. Completely. Robbie's bench toss says watching Philly choke away a point last night was fun. Cass, I know it'll break my heart, but I really do have hope for the win tomorrow. I mean, so do I. They've been playing pretty solid hockey, winners of 4 of the last 5, and they know there's not much time to play around now. I mean, there's really no margin for error. They have to play consistently good for the rest of the season to even sneak into the playoffs. Robbie's bench toss says, I'm not even looking at wild card 1 or 2. It's Metropolitan 3 or bust. Chasing down the Islanders. Moose Man says, Jack had better not go to the Olympics. What are you he's 100% going to the Olympics. That'd be amazingly selfish, but he is a selfish player. I mean, is it that selfish, though? John says a win on Sunday would be huge. Throwing beers back during the afternoon while it dumps snow on us, hyped. I'll tell you this, John. I hate the winter. I hate the snow. I sincerely hope that all of these weather people were wrong, and either this storm completely misses us, which I understand is probably not likely, or is just nowhere near as bad as they're saying. But what a pain in the ass. I'm super jealous of all of you folks that live in a place where it does not snow and you never have to deal with it. Snow removal, like, cleaning off the car and shoveling and all this stuff. Like, I'm already exhausted by the couple snows we had in the past couple days. Like, I'm so over the winter. You guys know I'm a summer kid. I cannot wait for the summer. I'll take the spring, obviously, but the snow, absolutely brutal. And I hope it's not a blizzard during this game. But if it is, so be it. I just want to see this Devils club find a way to win the next 2 and set the table to return home on a 4-game winning streak would be phenomenal. Jay Snow, we're in a terrible spot. We're not a cup contender. We're not bad enough to get a top pick. We're in the mushy middle. Sort of true, but like I said before, if somehow they play good enough for the rest of the season to get into the playoffs, you would have to be much higher on the team than, we all would be, I believe, than we are right now. Now, I wouldn't, because of how the struggles happened post-Chicago cut, even if they do make the playoffs, I still will not be as high on the team overall as I was before the season or after during the 8-game heater. But I certainly would be way more hopeful, or my expectations would be higher than they are right now. Because, again, you can't ignore the fact that if they do get into the playoffs, that means they played phenomenal for a little less than half of the season. So you got to put some credence into that. Crazy Alex says we got to win 3 or 4 if we want a shot. Tomorrow is a must win. Every game is. Captain Mafungo, the next 4 games are all winnable. Time for them to knuckle up. Imagine a 7-game heater. Now, let's not get carried away, kids. It's been 2 games, but they are winnable. String together these wins. Moose Man, yeah, I'm with you, Ace. Clear the $9 million and spend it. That's what I'm at this point. I'm like, I think that would be the move, but I wouldn't be upset if they hang on to Dougie, if we are looking like we're in true contention to sneak into the playoffs. Snow says, I don't think they're built in the least for a deep playoff run. Yeah, no one does. Let's be real. But on the flip side, would you rather them just tank it if they're close to a playoff spot? That would suck. Snow, they could get in because Philly, Penn's Isles start to fall off. We'll see. Sorokin's having quite a season. And like I said, from a few weeks back, Sid the Kid desperately, and Gino. Sid and Gino been riding together for all these years. What a tandem. They're looking to make one more playoff splash at least before they hang it up. I don't know. I think it's going to be tough, obviously, but we'll see. Moose Man, give a thumbs up for our boy Ace, even if he is a Hughes lover. Thanks. Hit the thumbs up. And I wouldn't say I'm a Hughes lover. they're on our team. I root for everyone on the team to do well. They do both have talent. Obviously, there are certain things about, every player you could nitpick, but there's certainly things about their games that I don't love, and obviously the injuries and stuff. But I'll never be one of these extremist haters. Like, that's crazy. Like, do I have issues with some of the stuff? Absolutely. But I'm also realistic in the fact that they are both super talented. And Jack, when healthy, which, everyone's going to be like, well, he's never healthy. And I get it. It's frustrating. But he is dynamic and explosive when he is healthy. And we saw it early on in the season. He was looking like he was going to have a special year. And then we got Chicago cut. And this whole friggin' thing went down to... It's just so annoying. Really, really annoying. Wow, this is quite a name here. CT Hulu, the critic. Do you think Silayev has a legit top 4 ceiling, or is he trade bait for us? I'm not going to lie. I think he's too young for anyone to really know. Big body defenseman. I've seen kind of conflicting reports about him as of late. The KHL is a super interesting place for a lot of reasons. And we'll find out. But the reality is, if this team wants to make a push before the window's fully closed, because I hate to say it, I think it's maybe 2/3 of the way closed. And I don't think it's going to get any wider unless Fitz or someone else makes some big time changes to really improve this roster. I would not be against trading him in a deal at all. You guys know where I'm at with this. You got to make a push, chips in the middle, futures be damned, prospects, draft picks. It's all available for the right deal, and everything should be explored. So we will see. Devil's Den, my man, Austin. Legitimate question. If Jack continues to be injured over the next 2 seasons, missing time, do we trade Jack away if he's consistently missing time year after year? I don't know when you got in here, but refer to what I said a couple minutes ago. At that point, I think my point would be even more kind of stamped in concrete, that if he misses time over the next 2 seasons, then forget about trading him, because you're never going to get any sort of fair value, and you might as well keep him and hope and pray every season that he doesn't get hurt, because at that point you're talking about what? He'd be injured like 7 of 9 years or so, or 8 of 9 years. Like, you'll never get anything worthwhile to warrant trading him, in my opinion, at that point. Jason, no, team doesn't do it nearly enough. I want to see him irritating goalies like he did just to Shesterkin in the playoffs. Yeah, so would I. I would too. Hopefully he elevates it. Like I said, in a previous live, I do think that we did not do him any favors by not bringing in any other guys that remotely play the way he does or do what he does. And he's like out there, the sole agitator, the sole guy playing with that kind of chip on his shoulder. I do think if you have several guys on your team like that, they kind of feed off each other, but he's out there kind of doing it alone. But no excuses. I would like to see him kind of bring that snarl into every game too, Snow. He was an absolute menace in that Ranger series. Despite not registering a point, he had a huge role in that playoff win. Captain Mofongo, I would trade Jack without thinking twice if he sustains another injury next season of 18 or more games. Again, I just talked about this. Like, with each injury derailed season, his trade value is probably going to be decreased to the point where it's not worth doing. Randall Flag, I saw Steven Seagal in the 3rd in Edmonton. We were, in fact, under siege. I love Steven Seagal. What a legend. So many great movies. On Deadly Ground, Above the Law. Anyone seen Richie? What a love Seagal. Titus Dream, Jack is now a one-dimensional player like an older Scott Gomez. He can make plays and get assists, but he won't touch 20 goals. Guys, he's playing with one hand right now. This is a one-handed man. He certainly will score 20 goals when he has 2 hands and plays the majority of the season. You would like to think his floor is like 30, but it depends on being healthy and not missing games. Jason, how many breakaways are we going to miss? Every single one. Hold on, I got it. Hold on, the injury. I got it. 1 second. Be right back. 1 second. Yeah, every single breakaway. I don't even know if that's a published stat, but we would have to be one of the worst teams in the league, I'd imagine, on converting breakaways. And considering some of the guys on this roster, it is maddening, right? Like, who had one the other day? Brown missed one the other day. Nico missed one. I feel like Bratter's 0 for 10 on his last 10 breakaways. Like, hopefully they start going in. Jack has had a bunch of chances in tight. Again, one hand. So he's going to have to really, I think for Jack to convert on one, he's going to have to really just like completely deke a goalie out of their jock to where he just has them like fully swimming on one side of the net. But he really shouldn't even attempt a backhand while he's still injured. The backhand has nothing on it. Again, unless he's in tight and drops a goalie and has him sliding kind of out of the way, because the backhand has nothing to it. And on the game-winning assist to Nemitz, he kind of fanned on the pass. If you watch it, I talked about this. He passes it on the backhand, and there's like nothing on it, and the puck is just like slowly crawling. Nemo's like waiting for it in front. And when I saw Jack whiff in real time, I was like, oh my God, please. I thought there was a chance. I couldn't see if there was a defender like off screen that could have maybe jumped it or kind of appeared on screen and broke it up, but it was like a slow dribbler. Luckily, it got to Nemo and he finished on it. But yeah, breakaways and failing to score on them, huge problem. Absolute problem. Traveling Devil, my man. Wonder if Guerin is second guessing himself keeping Jack on the USA roster. I don't think so, because there are like the taxi squad players, and so if he looks like absolute crap and is compromised, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets yanked. Now, I think he would have to look really, really bad for Billy G to do that. You know, and part of all of this, there's obviously kind of politics and other things kind of behind the scenes. And I don't think Billy G is looking to do anything to potentially anger his newly added superstar in Quinn Hughes, because Billy G's number one priority, aside from winning a Stanley Cup with the Minnesota Wild, and aside from winning an Olympic gold with this Team USA squad in Milan, is re-signing Quinn Hughes for as long as he could possibly get him to sign for. And I think that's probably in the back of his head as well. Like, I don't want to ruffle too many feathers. And it's unfortunate that these kind of situations exist in life where people may have decisions influenced by kind of things that shouldn't, but you know, it's real life. And I could totally see that playing a part. Austin says Robertson is going to be traded, and I've asked for us to trade for him for 2 years. People have been talking about him a lot. Like, listen, I would like him, but I always go back to, this is my kind of logic with everything, is like, that would require probably almost all of our bullets, I'll call them, whether it's prospects, picks, maybe even a roster player. Like, to get a guy like Robertson would use up a lot of our potential ammo. And then obviously with the deal he's going to be looking for after this season, he's an unrestricted free agent. I would say at a minimum, he's going to want $12 million bucks. Like, do you want to invest so heavily in terms of, you know, trading pieces away to get him and the money it's going to take to re-sign him? I wouldn't be mad if that's how it played out. Obviously, how can you be upset adding a guy like Robertson to the team? But I always just question, is that the best or most fitting piece you could potentially get? And I don't know if it is. Maybe, you know, there's other guys I would rather have, but they may not be available. And so if that's the best you could do, that's a pretty good player to add, but it would be costly in terms of assets and the contract he's going to want. And so I just look at it from the kind of perspective of, are those pieces and cap space better spent elsewhere? Maybe, maybe not. Snow said I would actually love Robertson. Captain Mafungo, Robertson is awesome. Too bad we have Fitz as our GM. Jay Snow, he's a stud scorer, would be great on Jack's wing. I don't think anything could argue with that. Colleen, do you really think they're going to play Jack Hughes in the Olympics if he's injured? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Titus says Cody is giving us what he was signed for. Everyone else is underperforming. I think that's selling him a little short. I would say he's, at a minimum, slightly overperformed contract and expectations. Slightly, at a minimum. But everyone else is massively underperforming. That is no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Jersey Root says the owners have deep bromance love for the Hughes. YouTube OG Northwest Jersey here, done with the snow noise. Oh, man, I hate it. I hate it. I hate the cold. I hate the early dark. I hate everything about it. But my hands are cracked up. I got to put the the lotion on and the chapstick and terrible dark. And now it's actually starting to stay lighter, 1 minute per day. The other day I was like, oh my God, it's 4. I don't know when I noticed this a week or two ago, and I was like, wait a minute, it's like 4:40 and it's not dark. We're getting 1 extra minute of sunlight per day. Slowly creeping towards those 8:30, 8:45 summer sunset hours, which absolutely love as much sunlight as possible in the warmer temperatures. But yeah, winter sucks. This one feels really depressing. The Devils struggling definitely adds to it as well. Stick fix the snow's all hee ha ha until the plow comes and undoes a half hour of work. Yeah. You hear him dragging and just burying the bottom of the driveway. Moose Man, I'm with you. Ace on so being over the winter, way too cold. Hate it. Hate it. Jason says this winter is never ending. Randall, we need a 2019 St. Louis Blues run. It's asking for a lot. Do we have the character guys that they had to make it happen? I would say no. If I'm being honest, I would say no. But I would love to be proven wrong. Would love nothing more than to be proven wrong. If this team could get their together, make the playoffs. Listen, I would still be ecstatic with what my expectations were coming into the summer. Many of you know. And for those that don't, heading into the season for the summer, I said this season should be Eastern Conference Finals or bust. They need to make the next step forward from that 22-23 season. It's been regression, and winning a single playoff round is still not enough. And here we are, we might not even make the playoffs. And so it's insane. What a wild turn of events. This will forever be known as the Chicago cut season for sure, no matter how it ends. But hopefully we at least could get into the playoffs. I mean, it sucks to even think like that, but wow. David Ryan says, I declare tomorrow a must win. Jeff, we need to swap out 2 players in the top 6 for better players, period. Oh, Jeff, you're asking for a whole lot, my guy. You want two top 6 guys? That's hilarious. You should be thrilled if we get 1. Chris, congratulations on the big win against the Oilers. That was a fun, exciting win for you. Character game. It really was. Gut check time. They buckled down and survived. It wasn't the prettiest win. 2 points or 2 points, and on to Vancouver. Yo, Jay Snow, you're ridiculous with some of these comments. Putz Monkey says that all the LOL at all the crazy saying Hughes shouldn't be in the Olympics. Can't wait to see him play on an actual talented team with wingers to support him. I don't want to break it to you, Putz Monkey, but there was this tournament last year called the Four Nations. And in said tournament, Jack was fairly invisible. It's kind of what happened. And still saying it's because he's hurt, not because we're saying he's not talented. And yeah, I meant to get to that too. It's not like, oh, he shouldn't make it. People are saying because they want him to be rested up for the New Jersey Devils, and he's obviously not at 100%. Painfully obvious. James Valenti with the snow. I will believe it when I see it. One time they predicted 3 feet of snow. Winds took a different direction. We got 0.3 of an inch. I was at Stop and Shop when someone tried to return 7 gallons of milk. Yeah, I always make the joke. It's like, oh yeah, this blizzard brought to you by ShopRite, because obviously all the crazies, they're like, oh my God, a blizzard's coming. And then all the moms and grandmas are there with their shopping carts buying 10 years worth of shit for a snowstorm that at most will have you trapped in your house for a day. But, they're buying cartons of eggs and this and that. And it's like, my God, like you're not going to be stuck in your house for 3 weeks. Like, what do you need to prepare for? But yeah, that's always my joke. Like this, this storm brought to you by the local grocery, the grocery store, because people are panic buying pallets of food for a storm. It's kind of crazy. Snow says, I agree. Timo is on an island being the only forward that brings that element. Yeah, and I think that's been a tragic flaw of this roster for some years now. It's like, just bring in a couple more dogs, please. Please and thank you. Just give us a couple more dogs. Putz Monkey says, how delusional are people with these Jack trades? They're very delusional. Very, very delusional. B now says, why are they calling up Colton White? He's the extra defenseman. The D is going to be exactly what it was last game, but in case of an injury or something, they need to have the next guy ready, and that will be Colton White, so he's not replacing anybody. Anyone know why Richie did Bobby Lupo? What an amazing man. Seagal, like childhood legend. Serve says Robertson should have been on Team USA. I think Team USA screwed themselves. For whatever reason, the USA brass, Billy Guerin and his, other advisors, they clearly do not like this kid for some reason. And that makes me concerned. Again, this is a pipe dream anyway. I don't think the Devils are even going to remotely be a serious contender to get him if he's dealt. But I will say the fact that USA passed on him last year for Four Nations and for the Olympics, despite his impressive point totals, it really makes me wonder, like, what is your issue with this kid? Is it a character thing? Is it something in his game that they don't like? But I certainly want to know, what is it about this kid that you've passed on him twice now? They passed on Tage Thompson. A lot of people thought that was a mistake last year for the Four Nations, and they course corrected this time. Tage was not left off the Olympic roster. As you guys or the regulars all know, Tage Thompson is super high on my list of kind of pipe dream additions. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. And Buffalo and Lindy Ruff are looking to get into the playoffs themselves this year. But in any sort of planet where Tage Thompson was being shopped, he would be super high on my list. Dean Smith, Jason Robertson should be on Team USA. Deserves it more than Jack does, among others. B now. No one 30 and under would know Billy G if it wasn't for the Quinn Hughes. What a shame he was the exact player we need today. Oh, tell him, B now. Tell him. I talk about the legends of yesteryear all the time. As you guys all know, I will forever cherish the glory years of the New Jersey Devils. God bless Lou Lamoriello and all the legends that so proudly and beautifully represented this organization. And super high on the list is a guy like Billy Guerin. My God, like just what a nasty, nasty man with ill intent in his heart. Ill intent in his heart. And you could see when he snapped, you would see it in his eyes. Absolute dog, and literally is the exact type of guy we need on this roster now. Guys like Billy Guerin, Claude Lemieux, even a Bobby Holik, Jason Arnott, all these guys that were just nasty, nasty men up front. And it is exactly what the team needs now. They are overall definitely maybe inching towards an endangered species. There's not nearly as many of these guys in the league as there was back then. Obviously a different game, and the modern player has kind of morphed a little bit, but they still do exist. There are still some throwbacks, and the Devils need some of these guys, but I could not agree more. B now. Billy Guerin, would love to see a clone of him on this team. Putz Monkey says, man, nobody hates the Devils as much as the Devils fans. Huh? I mean, some people are just so negative. And people just say, I'm negative. I was so optimistic for so long, and I'm still trying to remain optimistic right now. Like, there are some people that will just complain about every single thing. I'm definitely not one of those people, but those people do exist. It's a shame. Yeah, Billy G. We need a Billy G. The man from Jurors 201, greetings and salutations, Devils Nation. Hello, hello. Crazy Alex says, you think his Olympic teammates will see the real injury and the word gets out? No, because even if he showed them his hand, that doesn't, what does that mean? Everyone knows he has a cut finger. Jay Snow, I thought Bill G had balls. If he plays Jack just to appease Quinn, then he's softer than I thought. Listen, man, he might be like, listen, he could be compromised, but we could still win despite him. And I could not anger my star player who I'm trying to re-sign. We'll see. I mean, this is pure speculation, but being now, it's kind of true around here to the degree. It's frustration for lots of different reasons for everyone. And I certainly understand that. I do think people are kind of at their wits' end now. The people that were kind of, I'm not going to say in denial, but were more believing that something magical was going to happen to kind of turn things around. And now that we're seeing another season that's like more of the same, I think the people have, just quickly got to their breaking point where they're like, I'm tired of this. Like, when are they going to take the next step? When are we going to make a big acquisition? I totally get it. Putz Monkey says, I don't get the Jack Hughes hate. He's been pivotal for this franchise and still is for this team. The way he drives plays intangible and doesn't show on the score sheet. No, I think these people all get that, Putz Monkey, but when you have a kid that has missed time in every single season except one that he's played, and has a little bit of arrogance about him, and got injured or whatever you want to call it in some weird, bizarre off-ice incident this season, it kind of derailed our season. I mean, really, that was the derailment of the season, Chicago cut. And we're still suffering despite, Jack's playing in the lineup, but we're still feeling the lingering effects of the Chicago cut thing because Jack is still not 100%. And so you're talking about, a guy that, again, has a little bit of arrogance about him that rubs people the wrong way. I certainly understand that. And the kid who's missed time every single season with injuries. And then the cherry on the sundae is this year it wasn't even on the ice. It was kind of some tomfoolery to some extent. A lot of people kind of get to their wits' end quickly with that as well. But what you're saying is completely true. He's been a huge piece of the team for years, and he does drive play, and he is dynamic when he's healthy and all that stuff. But all the stuff I said before this is also true. And so some people will quickly kind of make their judgments and form their narratives that they're not going to easily budge off of until something changes for, the big picture. Alan, Ace, don't you think Jack Hughes is being a little selfish by playing if he really is not 100%? I mean, let's face it, he's not doing shit for this team at this point. Selfish in what way, though? I don't think he's at risk to further injure it. And so what is the selfish part? Because like I said, I don't know when you got in here, Alan, but Jack Hughes, even at 60%, is still much better than most players in the league, and he's certainly much better than anyone who would replace him in the Devils lineup. So I'm curious where the selfishness kind of comes in for you. Hokic says, imagine betting on the Devils to win the Cup this year. The payout would be insane, and I don't even gamble. Well, the Devils were amongst the top 5 or so teams coming into the season. They're obviously way different now. Let's see. The Devils right now are plus 5,500. Oh, my God. So for those that don't bet, right now, if you bet on the Devils to win the Stanley Cup, you could bet $100. And if the Devils won the Cup, you would get $5,500. I might have to throw $50 or something on it. I mean, that's crazy. For comparison, coming into the season, I think the Devils were like 15 or 16 to 1. And they were one of the favorites. So it's pretty crazy to think about, obviously where they are in the standings. They're a long shot to even make the playoffs, but 5,500, woof. Randall says, when was the last time 2 top 6s were acquired in the same season by anyone? I don't know offhand. I'm sure it's happened, but again, right. You could trade for a guy that's a 3rd or 4th liner technically on the team they were on and then put them in your top 6. So, it's not like it's subjective to some extent. Obviously there's certain guys, everyone's like their top 6 guys, but anyone could potentially be slotted into a top 6 role. So that's kind of a gray area. Gleason, the U.S. team is probably the least useful place Jack can be is around superstars. Does the U.S. need a guess who can't score in a breakaway in OT against Canada? We already have that covered. Okay. James has got to get the bread and milk, and Jason can't have enough toilet paper. Bean has, what if the power goes out? We need 300 days of food. Yeah, you'd think some of these people were grocery shopping for the zombie apocalypse. Like, what are you doing? You don't need all that. Wild. Metalander says, international tournaments are no place for a soy boy. Jack will be exposed again. Wow. Tell us how you really feel, Metalander. Obviously, that is a possibility. Now, I'm hoping the exact opposite happens. It would be great if he could go there, get his confidence up by playing around all these winners and go out there and have a hell of a tournament and be a pivotal member of the team and play a big part in them winning a gold medal. That'd be phenomenal. But on the flip side, what you're saying is possible. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope he really kind of gets his groove back in Italy. Putz Monkey says, hot take, point totals aren't everything when building a team. Sure, Robertson has the stats, but you need role players on a team to actually win. No, I completely agree. But when you're talking about a guy that can score goals and can produce offensively like Robertson, like, I don't know. It is kind of a head scratcher how he doesn't get picked. And furthermore, this might be a hot take for me. Well, it's not really a hot take. It's more of just kind of a question. But injury aside, I think there are fans, both of the Devils and just across the league of all kinds of teams, that think even if Jack Hughes was 100% healthy, that Robertson would deserve the spot over him, even in that scenario. And so it definitely is a conversation. I may have seen a poll about this at some point, but I do think it's definitely an interesting one. Meadowlander says Robertson is a slow skater and undersized for the Olympics. Well, I mean, if he's undersized, then what is Jack? What is Robertson listed as? Dude, he's 6'3", 204. I mean, how is that undersized? Jack is like 5'10", 160 pounds. So slow skater, fine, but undersized, like, nah. Putz Monkey, considering the U.S. lost in OT in the finals during Four Nations, I'd say the roster is pretty well put together even without Robertson. No, I agree. They're both completely loaded teams. It's going to be interesting to see, if these teams are on a collision course for a gold medal or potentially play earlier in the tournament. But that would be obviously must-see TV. B now says Timo, Dylan, Kovacevic need to bring sandpaper every night. Yeah, that would be nice. There's not too many guys that do bring it. Would love to see it imported from the outside. Joseph, hey Ace, love the broken glass soundbite every time Glass scores. I'm curious, is there a stat for how many games the Devils win when he scores? I don't think that's easy to find. Let's see. It's definitely a winning record. I'll follow up on that, but it's not easy. You can't find it right now. Yeah, the Olympic roster's been out for a while. David Ryan, 139 watching, only 57 likes. Damn, the math ain't math, and hit the like button for Ace. Woof. Hit the thumbs up. It takes half a second. Do me a favor, please. What do I got to do? Thank you, David. These people are slacking. Ethan said, not surprised Ace can't go one day without dooming. What are you even talking about? Is Ethan another hater? I mean, the haters are just coming out of the woodwork. I can't take it anymore. I didn't realize Ethan was one, but maybe he is. I don't know. B now, Jack is still productive, arguably still the best player on the team. I mean, he certainly can dish it. Create for some other guys that hopefully can finish, but no one's been finishing. Devils Den, it's frustrating that when we as fans of a team that we love, when we try to give legit criticisms, it's considered being a doomer. All we want is a successful team, but now we have incompetence. I can't even worry about, like, I don't worry. I can't worry about what these idiots say. Like, if you talk about the truth, if it's not good, you're a doomer. Like, there's clearly a difference between being realistic and honest and dooming. There's a very big difference. And if I have to explain it to you, then you're probably part of the problem. Arnott says, Devils then 100% agree. We've been waiting a long time for a legit team. Jay Snow, that's the beauty of having Fitz complete incompetence. Alan, ace meaning selfish is that if he is hurt, sit out until he can contribute to the team. Sorry, taking up a spot is selfish to me. And this is where I have to wholeheartedly disagree, Alan. Jack Hughes at whatever percent, and like I've been using as a round number, let's just say he's 60% right now. He could be less, he could be more. But let's just say he's 60%. You're telling me you rather have Glendening or Lamico in the lineup than the version of Jack Hughes we have right now? I'm sorry, but that is an insane take. Insane. I will take the Jack Hughes version today over any of the other options we have to put in his place. Period. And it's not even close. Not even close. B now says Billy G's like, I'll give you a spot to play in the Olympics if you come to the Wild ASAP. Dean Smith, Brett Hull's a slow skater, but he did it right in the Olympics. Hull, what a legend Hull is. Putz Monkey, love you, Ace. Hope this team can string some wins together. Jacko will find his competence and be a difference maker in Italy and come back and lead the Devils to the playoffs. Appreciate that. Would love to see that happen. That is the dream scenario, right? For all the guys. They all go to the Olympics. They all do well personally. Obviously, as an American, I'm hoping Jack just goes off on an absolute hot streak and comes back flying high with his newfound confidence and his gold medal and dominates for the New Jersey Devils. That is the dream scenario. Come back with the gold and go out there and light it up upon your return. John says Glass and Grits have been fun to watch. Yes, they are. Ethan said, I'm not a hater. I love the Devils, but it's time for them to step up without Luke and show they are a team. I don't know what that has to do with what I just said when you said something about me, but okay. Jay Snow, before Jack, I heard he was looking so good to start the year too. It sucks. Yeah, he was looking explosive. He had a few multi-goal games, I think, and was just out there just cooking people. It looked like primetime Jack Hughes. And I'm like, damn, we get this version of Jack all season long. It's going to be a fun season. I was super hyped. During the 8-game heater, yeah, listen, I was flying high. During the 8-game heater, the team looked great. They were scoring tons of goals. This also overlapped with my very brief media career. So things were looking great for me. I was like, it's all coming together perfectly. And then it quickly all fell apart. All of it. The team, my situation, it is what it is. But that was like pinnacle. I'll never forget those couple weeks where it seemed like good things happening. Jersey Root says he's not a doomer. He's just telling it like it is. Yeah, I appreciate that. I don't think I'm a doomer at all. I think I'm very fair to the point where people were like, oh, he's defending Fitz now. And I'm like, yeah, when people say things that I don't think are fair about Fitz, I'll certainly defend those too. And I've done that on millions of occasions. Stick Figs, when we were riding the 8-game high with no signs of slowing, we're delusional. But now when it's time to be real, it's dooming. There's no living in the present. There's no pleasing everyone. Couldn't have said truer words, Stick Figs. There's these people that just live in an alternate universe where they want everything to be sunshine and rainbows all the time, as I say, and everything needs to be overly positive. Like, sorry, if that's what you're looking for, you came to the wrong place. I'm always going to tell you exactly what I think, good, bad, or indifferent, popular or not popular. I'm always going to give you the real. And when it's not good, it's not good. I mean, there's nothing I could do about it. I'm always going to tell you what I actually feel. Dakota, I do not want Jack anywhere near the Wild. Are you a Wild fan, Dakota? John, Hand of Doom is a Black Sabbath song. Possible Devils Hughes reference. Randall, let's not forget how long it took Mac to hit 100 points in season. His injury's never been as bad as Jack. Wait, who are you talking about? Be Now, freak accident. What really happened can make a good a movie or a good book, apparently. Yeah. I just want the book or movie to be how the New Jersey Devils survived Chicago cut and snuck into the playoffs and then went on an unprecedented run to win the cup. Let me live. Let me dream, guys. I know it's not likely, but let me live. Let me live. What's going on, Doug? Austin Powers. Y'all forget Jack is distracted off the ice now. We aren't making a run. I hope we do, but I'm being honest. This is another thing that I can't buy too much. Oh, what? Jack's distracted by what? Chicks? You don't think chicks were a part of his life before he had a public, whatever you want to call this? Come on. Let's be real. He's a superstar player in the NHL in his young 20s. If you don't think he was involved with chicks prior to the Tate McRae news, then you are just delusional on what it means to be a young, dominant athlete. Stick Figs, you're right. Fat Jack is hoarding a spot. If he can't produce, give it to someone who's hungry. Jack to the press box. Mark McLaughlin, time to save New Jersey. And that's my point, right? Like, come on. Yeah, it's not like we have star players that like, oh, injured, compromised Jack is taking up their spot. Like, let's be real. I will take this version of Jack Hughes over any other option we have. And so I have to majorly disagree with, I forget who said it earlier, that it's selfish to take up a spot. Like, take up that spot all you want, brother. Play through your injury. Hopefully it heals soon, but we have no better option. When am I interviewing Rachel Herzog? I would love to interview everybody, but there's a lot of, there's a lot of things to all this. Everything is more complicated than it should be, but would love to. Jay Snow, Draisaitl's back tonight. Good timing for us. Yeah, we dodged a bullet. We were able to play the Oilers without him. And that power play of theirs is still completely heart attack inducing even without Draisaitl. Oh, McKinnon. There's no comparison, though. Nathan McKinnon's a different stratosphere of animal. You guys are making stupid jokes in the comments. Jason said, females ain't the problem. Back in the day, guys were drinking beers and smoking darts before games. Completely true. Some people like to spin these crazy narratives like, oh, he's distracted off the ice. Like, come on, guys. What do you think? Tate McRae is the first chick he's ever talked to? Let's be real. Maybe the first pop star, but I don't think that makes much of a difference. David Chimes, what's going on? Pump to steamroll the Canucks, Kraken, Jets, Preds, Sens, and Jackets, and have a chance at another 9-game heater when we play the Islanders before the break. Stock up on the winter beverages. That would be quite the story, David. A 9-game heater before the break. I'll be lighting off fireworks indoors if that happens. Yeah, Jack is taking Crookshank's spot. John says, if 6'3" is undersized, I should have never been allowed in all those roller coasters. Doug, I watched a video of every goal scored from the 2012 playoff run. Man, I miss Covey and Parisi. We need a player like Covey. Yeah, good luck, man. Covey was dynamite. I've routinely maintained that, in my opinion, he is the most electric offensive player that I've seen in Devils history. There was nobody who was able to do what he did. A monster of a man, crazy top-end speed, crazy slapper, could snipe, could finish in tight on breakaway moves. He was phenomenal in the shootout. I mean, if you were a fan during the Ilya Kovalchuk era, consider yourself blessed because he was an absolute beast. Robbie's bench toss says McKinnon's early struggles and Jack's injury history is apples and oranges. Jason, I love McKinnon more than McDavid because he's an absolute animal during games. I love that about him. Yeah, he's a beast. Absolute beast. Ethan said, Ace, you coming to Monster Jam this weekend? What the hell's Monster Jam? Are you talking about the monster trucks thing? Randall says he's the second best forward in the league and took a while, was my point. Oh, yeah, but come on. If you think Jack's going to be the second best forward in the league, I can't say I agree. Robbie's bench toss, we only got Covey because Atlanta was dying and he was not going to resign. Players like him don't become available all that often. I would say there's not many players that are like him in the league today, period. Never mind become available. Jay says the Devils aren't even considered a league average team in size. They just love small, undersized players. Gleason, I would trade both Hughes brothers, Seamus Casey, Silayev, and a first for a modern Covey. I don't even know who I would say is the closest kind of like, what is the closest thing to him right now? Like, who are the guys that are in that realm? Because they have to fit a lot of criteria. They have to be absolutely huge, huge. They need to have insane speed. They need to have a crazy slapper. They need to have breakaway moves. Like, there's not many guys like him, honestly. Who's like him? Oh, crap. Oh my God, the Penguins are winning too. Yeah, I hate scoreboard watching, and it's so early to be doing it, but I find myself doing it. We have Bruins up. Oh my God, the Pens are up 3-0. The game just started, and Sidney Crosby, what an absolute legend! His 27th of the season, ridiculous. Ooh, Sabres 3-2 now, and the Canadians are on a power play in the third. I would love to see them lose in regulation, but it probably will be an easier path or a more likely path to sneak into the third spot in the Metro than a wild card. But I'd be thrilled to be there no matter what, however they have to get in. What about Kobe shootout where he lost the puck on the way? And I don't remember that one. The Devils are never getting Austin Matthews. Gleason, nobody checks all the boxes to be Kobe. That isn't McKinnon, who isn't a perfect match. Robbie's bench toss. Anyone else remember how much of a shootout legend Victor Kozlov for us? Dude was automatic. Yeah, it was so bizarre. It was bizarre how freakishly good he was at the shootout. And the modern, I mean, there hasn't been nearly enough sample size, but like you could say that about a guy like Cotter. Like, wow, Cotter, Cotter's kind of a shootout weapon for the Devils now, and he's not a guy that immediately comes to mind when you think of, goal scoring. David Chimes, I can't believe the Penguins are this good this season. Need to root against the Isles now. We need to root against all these teams. Vecna Fitzgerald, forever love Covey. Vecna, again, Palat chose to be here, not because of $6 million or the no move clause. I don't know. Disney, I don't know. High stick. Is that high stick? Covey by far the most dynamic forward the Devils ever had. I still would like to see him play with Bratter and Jack. They need a sniper like that. That's like a fantasy line for sure. Jack and Bratter with Ilya Kovalchuk would be insane. Would be completely insane. Yeah, if you weren't a fan back then, just look up some Kovalchuk highlights. I mean, it was a time. It was a time. It was such a fun era. It really was. And then that right after that kind of started the dark years. And then kind of the emergence of Jack Hughes now is where we are now. But wow. We need to move Pally too. Ethan, would you want Jamie Benn? He's currently... I've always liked Jamie Benn, but why would he leave Dallas? I think he's going to retire a star, and they're a great playoff team. He's not going anywhere. John says, can't forget prime Devils Parisi. No, of course not. Zach was a beast. Absolutely love Zach. Yeah, 3-0 Pens, 5 minutes in. Anyone got anything else before I wrap up here? I got to take care of some things. Oh, I just want to win. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a super late one, at 10 p.m. on MSG. The only saving grace of the last game was, there's no MSG postgame, so that kind of helped, despite the late start because of the game before. But now you're talking about, 1:30. My God, I'm gonna be powered by, you guys know. You guys already know. Tomorrow's late night stream brought to you by the Quick Check Iced Coffee, folks. It's a necessity. Devils Den says, give me prime Parisi. Would love it. What a beast he was. Pound for pound, one of the toughest players in Devils history. Ethan, so you think the Devils get no one? I don't think it'll be anything substantial. It could be like a depth piece of some kind, but I can't see a big splash. And again, I'd love to be wrong. High stake, put Parise on the wing with Nico and Timo. That would be a tough line to play against. Yeah, absolutely. Chowski, I'm glad the hate for Covey has gone down through the years. Who knows what the real truth is on why he left? That contract during that time was extremely sketchy, and I don't think Covey wanted to go. I would love to know what really happened there, too. There was a lot of stuff with, the owner at the time, Vanderbeek. There was some stories out there, and we may never know. Randall said, I remember Covey whipping Avery and Shen. Take care, John. Later, Ace. Hope for a 4-point weekend. Vecna, when's the call-ins and the meetup? Everything's a work in progress, man. I got a lot of stuff going on. These things just don't happen instantly. The call-ins will be soon. I know I've been saying that for a while, but it will be soon. The meetup, I don't know. The meetup, that's a lot more it's a lot more detailed and kind of a little bit further in the distance for me. David, whatever happens the rest of this road trip, we must beat the Isles. Is that supposed to be 4-point game right before the break? Yeah, beat the Isles. Yeah, and give them a nice payback for the 9-0 beatdown they gave us. Honky Lips to stock up on brewery favorites this weekend. Devil's Den, I won't be able to watch tomorrow night's game. Got work in the morning. Just sleep less, man. That's what you got to do. Jason, no Ace, were you going to shop, right? No. Dean Smith would like the A-line in their prime. Oh, yeah. I would like to win the Powerball. I mean, what are we talking about? What food am I going to stock up on? I'm not going to stock up on anything. I'm a big eggs and meat guy. Steaks, burgers. Just get a couple packets. I don't need a pallet. Just a couple. Oh, you guys got jokes. Jersey Ritz is probably Starburst, Sour Patch, and Jerky. I do like all of those, and I do like Surfsides as well. Those are all good, but Starburst and Sour Patch certainly are delicious. I'm trying to avoid the massive bag that I have here. I've been pretty good. I don't think I've eaten any of it at all since the night that I feasted during a live. That was after the Carolina loss, I think. I needed to console myself with candy. And so I ate a lot of it that night, but I don't think I've had any since. I've been trying to be good, but it is hard. It does talk. The bag does talk to me at night. When I walk by that cabin, it's like, eat me, fat man. Delicious Sour Patch Kids and Swedish Fish. Don't forget the Swedish Fish. Swedish Fish are phenomenal. Surfsides and pina coladas. Oh, snow. Oh, snow. We're just know when I bring out that 151 and you hit the deck, it's going to be a great video, and all these people will thoroughly enjoy watching it. Kovalchuk theories, drop them. I mean, I don't really have a theory, but people are like, oh, the Devils don't have the money to pay it and this and that. And there was rumors that they were going to miss payroll and guys were going to get their checks. Like, there was a lot of stuff. The man from Jersey 201, if Jack, Luke, and to a lesser extent Nico weren't so brittle, I wouldn't be embracing a tank. But sometimes a move or two can make you a contender, but I don't trust our core to make a long run. I still believe they potentially could if you brought in a few dogs, or at least two. But I'm just so kind of crushed right now on terms of what I'm expecting them to actually do. Dean Smith said you're talking about Covey and Parise. Yeah, it's all pipe dreams. That's true. That's all true. All right, that's it, kids. It's been fun. Appreciate you all for joining on a random non-game night. Our beloved New Jersey Devils heading into Vancouver tomorrow night, desperately needing another win to go 3-0 on the road trip to kind of keep the dream alive of squeaking into the playoffs, and we shall see how it goes. I will be here, obviously, for the post game at a super late or early, whatever you want to call it, edition. And hopefully we are drinking victory drinks once again. And feels like it's been an eternity since we've had victory drinks 3 nights in a row. But that's the hope. That is the hope. I will be back after the game, hopefully a victory drink in hand, and we're celebrating another win. Hopefully we see an offensive explosion. Would love to see Lenny Haminaho get his first NHL goal. Would love to see a little bit more of that heavier, edgier, more violent play. And would love to see some solid goaltending play, whoever's in there. But I just want to win. Get me the 2 points. All right, but that's it, guys. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. Don't be stingy. It takes half a second. What else? Oh, I forgot to mention. It is crazy how no one, it's now almost depressing, and I don't care about this that much at all, but it is depressing to know that nobody cares about Devils history. I must be so far in the minority in terms of how long I've been a fan. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I don't even know when. All the days are bleeding together here. But in the past 2 days, I put out a best of 2025 interviews that I did this past year. And there was some pretty decent names on there. Cup winners, Devils legends, and like the views on the video are pretty pathetic. I'll put the link in here in case anyone hasn't seen it. Go check it out. But I mean, wow. It just goes to show. This random stream tonight talking about random current events will perform better than interviews with Devils legends. I would have never predicted this a long time ago. I really would not have. I just put the link in the chat. If you're a longtime Devil fan, or if you're a newer Devil fan that want to kind of get an education and hear from some of the guys from the past, link in the chat for the best of kind of clips video. And then you could go either on the interview, the playlist interviews on the channel, or you could go to the description of the best of video and see the full ones. But man, the longtime fan seems to be an endangered species right now. All right, but that's it, guys. That's it. I'm done. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go.